So, globally, the implications here, if the world's second largest economy is still on the mat, Arthur, then is this going to hasten the risk of a recession globally?
I think that's an interesting question, because the reality is, for the last couple of years, the world has not principally been relying on China as a source of demand. China has been a source of low-cost supply of electric vehicles and green energy materials and all kinds of other stuff. And the demand really has been coming essentially from the United States. So I think the real question here is, the real variable is, does demand in the U.S. hold up? Is the pace of rate cuts by the Fed going to be sufficient to kind of sustain a strong economic momentum, or did they wait too long, and are we headed for a big slowdown? So I think China is not really the variable there. I think the variable is the United States, and that seems to be a big question at the moment, whether they can sustain their momentum.
Arthur, for yourself, right? You're a long time China watcher, an old China hand. The plenum's come and gone, the Politburo's come and gone. The economy is still basically the way it was. What is the next thing you're looking for, right, in terms of policy, and especially in terms of stimulus from the government, or are you?
Well, I think the conclusion that I and my team have come to is that when the government, where Xi Jinping, looks at China's economy, they don't think it's so bad. Because what's their objective? Their objective is to upgrade China technologically, to shift capital flows from property and infrastructure into high-tech manufacturing. All of that is happening. If you look at the credit flow data, the credit that exists is all going to the preferred sectors. Chinese tech companies are doing quite well. As I mentioned, their export margins are quite strong. So Chinese companies do very, very well in global markets, much better so than in domestic markets. So if you're the government, you look at this and say, you know what? Yeah, this is a difficult time, but we're achieving what we wanted to achieve, and we just need to stick with it. So I'm, pretty skeptical that they're going to move in a significant way on the stimulus that the market wants, because from the government's perspective, or from Xi Jinping's perspective, they're getting what they want. And I think we just have to realize that they're willing to absorb quite a bit of short-term economic pain in order to hit their long-term industrial policy goals.